this is the thing. The English language is about disempowering you. There aren't many words that are actually empowering, you know. There's too many to even think about. The other thing about the English language is it's backwards. It's completely backwards. I was looking into something called Paleo Hebrew. I'm convinced that Paleo Hebrew was the original language of mankind. Yeah, the original language. There's nothing before it. It's the language that Adam would have communicated with the Most High with. Yeah, it's also the language of creation. And when you get into it, you will see, not only see, you'll feel why that is. But Paleo Hebrew reads right to left. We read in English left to right. Our subconscious reads right to left. Yeah, it's a dead language, intentionally killed, so that we don't use the power in the words. Do you know what the magic word is? There's a word that people use as the magic word. Did you know that abracadabra isn't actually a word that means something? It's Paleo Hebrew. It means, now get this, it means I create that which I speak. Speaking Paleo Hebrew, as I said, it's I don't think we've got time to really go into it because it's such a really amazing language. When you know the rules and how it works, it's like a joyful thing, because whereas in English you understand words up here, yeah, you understand words by remembering patterns and stuff, yeah. Paleo Hebrew works here. You feel the words. A good example, right, is somebody posted a meme which had a whole load of emoticons or emojis or whatever, and you had to guess what the film was. Here's a difference of how it works. I'm going to describe a film to you using English, right? And you try and guess what that film is. You probably get it, but okay. A mentally ill man on the autistic spectrum recounts his life and the events of his life, and the famous people he meets through his life. When I started describing the words in English, yeah, your mind was going through, yeah, interpreting the words up here and then trying to match them to, you know, a whole list of film titles. Imagine emoticons in a row, yeah? So there's a man running, yeah? 3 trees, 3 or 4 trees. There's a box of chocolates. Forrest Gump. Can you see what I'm saying? I gave you a set of pictures, yeah? And it didn't come, you didn't have a mental process. You felt what the film was from the pictures. We do think in pictures, but we've been brainwashed into thinking in words, in English words that are going backwards. We don't use the power of the words. It takes us years to think in this way. That's why we have a school system that's, you know, it's years in the making of, you know, trying to force our brains into this rewired state, yeah, of thinking in words. There's a guy called David Oates. It's quite funny because I usually have to be shown something about 3 times before I take it seriously. Somehow I ended up on this guy's mailing list, and he used to send me emails about reverse speech, and I used to ignore them because I thought they must be some kind of demonic kind of, you know. But these emails kept popping up every 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have a look and see what it's about. This is amazing. It turns out that reverse somebody's, somebody's speech when they're talking, right? What you get is, you might get gibberish, 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 and then you will get a phrase in English that actually means what that person's really saying. You get a Trump speech, for instance, yeah? And he's saying one thing in his speech. You reverse it, and you'll get gibberish, 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 and he'll say what he really means. This is the thing, again, I told you that your subconscious actually works backwards, yeah? So when you tell a lie, for instance, when you tell a lie, your whole body is trying to say, I'm lying, this is what I really mean. That's why you can use body language to figure out somebody's lying, because your body is betraying you. Your body wants to tell the truth all the time. So your words might be lying, but your body is going to be telling the truth. When you choose the words you want to use to lie with, yeah, your subconscious steps in and uses the right words so that it can tell the truth backwards. Your mind works so quickly, your subconscious is so amazing that, literally you're saying something, you're telling a lie in consciously you're telling a lie. You choose the words using your subconscious. The subconscious chooses the words you use and the way you say it, and the way you pronounce the words and whatever, so that when you replay it in backwards, it's saying the truth. The thing about the Bible is it's been translated into English, and the original language was Paleo Hebrew, and when they translate the Bible into English, it's like translating a concrete language, right? Paleo Hebrew is concrete, yeah. It can only mean one thing, yeah. It's okay. Without giving a huge lesson in Paleo Hebrew, every letter has 8 different meanings. Every letter, and you don't choose the meaning that you like out of that list. You use every one of those meanings, yeah. Put every one of those meanings in, and see what that feels like, and it will suggest to you what that word means. When you make up a word with Paleo Hebrew with these letters, right, the word is the story that those letters make when you take all the meanings, yeah. Jerusalem, where Paleo Hebrew, that area where Paleo Hebrew was used, and you think of the Tower of Babel, where all the languages were confused. When people spread out east of Jerusalem, they retained the pictographical nature of the languages, yeah, and the direction, yeah, the right to left direction. All the languages east retain the pictographical, so Chinese, Japanese, Sanskrit, hieroglyphics, they're all pictographical. But if you go west of that area, all the letters are symbolic. I mean, it means that the letters don't actually mean anything; they're just shapes, yeah. And they're not pictures; they're just shapes. So they're symbolic languages, not these pictographical ones, yeah. So you can see that's why I believe that Paleo Hebrew was the first language, because you can see how it spread out from that area. It's like a descriptive language that you don't get here, you get here, because just like the emoticon language, if you imagine that you get children and they understand what all the letters mean, you can do this with children. You put the letters together and show them, and they'll look at them for a second and get it. Because we have all this programming, it's just thinking up here. It's more like, as I said, with the emoticon thing, yeah. With words, you have to be taught by rote. You have to, let's say the word river, okay? Moving body of water, river. Moving a body of water, river. Moving body of water, river. Right? Eventually, you'll go, oh, it's a moving body of water. That's a river. It's a thought process of pattern matching, yeah? But as I said, the emoticon language is, you look at the pictures, you get the feeling, and you know what it means. Right, that's what I'm saying, it's cool. And when you get the whole story, it's like, it's joyous. get excited about it. That's what I'm trying to say, is that's the difficulty about the Bible. The Bible was written in that concrete language, yeah, but then it's translated into this symbolic, abstract language that's not only abstract, but it's imprecise and it's ambiguous. You know, these religions have been able to twist the Bible to suit the way they want it to, because it's been read in a language that allows that you know, words to be twisted and words to mean several different things. What they call modern Hebrew isn't Hebrew, yeah, it's Yiddish. Got nothing to do with Hebrew. It's there for deception, yeah. But once you're armed with the rules of Paleo Hebrew, you can look at the Hebrew words and then decipher them, and then get the expanded meanings, and then understand. Modern Hebrew isn't Hebrew. It's Yiddish, and it's there to deceive you from understanding or pronouncing the words correctly, because modern Hebrew adds vowels to the words, and Paleo Hebrew doesn't have any vowels in it. Every letter in Paleo Hebrew has an assumed R sound after it, yeah? So Paleo Hebrew words sound like Abba, Ga, Da, Ra, Pa, La. They're all the letters, yeah? This fake Hebrew adds the sounds, you know, E, U, O, you know, there aren't those sounds in Paleo Hebrew. So now, if you read the Hebrew, the fake Hebrew, you're not going to pronounce the words properly, yeah? It's kind of tricky. So knowing the rules of Paleo Hebrew, you can look at a word in Hebrew, and if it's got like an U sound in it, yeah, or an O sound in it, yeah, you can actually make up that sound with just the Paleo Hebrew letters. So like the word Joshua would be YAHAWAH. So I've just used just R sounds in there. You can hear the O, the implied O, YAHAWAH. If you say YAHAWAH quickly and, you know, a few times, you hear the O, yeah, and you hear the U sound as well. So it's not really there, but it kind of, you know, gives you the impression. So what they did was they created these vowel sounds and replaced them so that you wouldn't be able to pronounce the word properly. Here's something else that is a bit controversial, and it's amazing. Babies come into this world speaking Paleo Hebrew. Think about it, yeah. Imagine, you know, your baby coming out into the world, yeah, and it starts to make sounds, yeah. It starts going Abba, Ra, Ka, Ba, La. The first words that they speak without being taught these words, right, in pretty much every language, is mother and father, yeah, mum and dad. Mama and papa, or dada, or Paleo Hebrew, for father is Abba, mother is Amma. The point is that they know the words for mother and father in Paleo Hebrew. So you can see how it's been sort of contracted down to papa and dada, and, you know, in most languages, yeah. I think in Turkish it's baba, yeah. So your baby speaks Paleo Hebrew, yeah. It comes out, and as soon as it's able to form words, it's speaking Paleo Hebrew. But then it realizes, you know, it's like, you know, hey mum, I'm here, you know, and you go like, oh, oh, how sweet, and the baby's like, well, she can't speak the language. I'm going to have to learn her language, and that's it. And this is that steep learning curve that baby now has to learn. Take years to learn how to speak, you know, your language, when it came in with a fully functional language of its own. Now, when I had this idea that maybe, you know, babies actually speak a language, all of a sudden information started coming to me, including an experiment that was done by a Scottish king in the 1500s, yeah? And what he did was he marooned a woman who is deaf and dumb on an island with 2 newborn babies, yeah, and he left them there for years, yeah, and he came back after, you know, after 15, 20 years or something like that, to find out if these two babies who were brought up in silence could speak a language. Now, the results of that experiment were lost. I think they were suppressed, but the people in that area, all the people that lived in that area who knew about the experiment, they say that these 2 boys, right, could speak perfect Hebrew. So it tells me that, you know, Paleo Hebrew, I mean, if you go back to the Bible, yeah, nobody, you know, there's nobody talking about how they're teaching their children how to speak.